Okay, guys. So I'm going to jump over to my Lab 6. Let me just close a couple of things here. Oh, regarding these Fs, disregard them. The basic, I realized afterwards that was going to happen. I'm like, oh crap, everyone's going to freak out. But
when I checked like that day, it wasn't there to upload, and
Yep, you got screwed. But hopefully you can submit today, right? Is there a field for today?
Still won't be able to.
Darn it.
I think the date is July 18th. Yeah. So right now the date.
What? I changed that date. Wait, are you in Lab 6? Oh, go to Lab 6.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I am in Lab 6 still no.
Still no.
Still not around.
Really?
Yeah.
Even though, but does it say 25th?
It says 25th, but
Yeah.
says
Which is today, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's on me. I'm going to have to go in the database. Yeah, because the auto grade thing happened. Darn it. Okay, I'll make a note, guys. So I might have to collect your pens from you afterwards, because like now that it's assigned that grade, it's not letting us enter them anymore. So I've got to make an adjustment. Ugh. I never anticipated getting sick. All right. But you should be able to bring up the professor mode session right here, which is basically where I left it the last time. So you might want to fork your lab from last time, and we'll continue on from there. So for me, I've got my Firebase app in here, but you'll want to use yours. So if you haven't pointed this at your Firebase application, then you'll want to adjust this.
I just realized that I didn't post, or I don't know, I need to look in my code pen, because the Wi-Fi there was like really bad. But
Oh, okay.
can I fork yours now, keep working, and then
Yeah,
go
definitely.
back on
Yep. And then the thing that you will need is, just so you guys can remember, if you need a reminder for where you're getting this from, you go to your Firebase account, you bring up your app right here, and then from here, you've got this add Firebase to your web app. That will give you what you need. So mine says like oddly invoice, but yours will be whatever you have set up. So you're going to want this little chunk right here. And then that's going to allow you to use your own Firebase applications. Yeah. If you log in, then if you have created an app already in Firebase, so if I go back home here.
It's supposed to come to automatically though. It's supposed to come to automatically.
Yeah. So if you want, you can use one of those, or you can make a new one. All right. So let's do some quick little review here, guys. At the top here, we've just got our basic styled components. So we made this page, we made this row, we made this column. These are basically just used to create our overall layout. So heading down, let's go to some more interesting components down here. Let's go all the way down, and we'll start at the top, where right here,
6.
6, yeah. we're picking up the one we missed last week. So it seems like, yeah, lab 6. It seems like there's no entry field there, and it's already assigned an F, because like last week when I was sick, it just did its thing and gave everybody Fs. But that's not, don't worry, don't kill me. We will fix that. I'm just going to have to go in the database and make a little change.
In the Firebase, what did you add? Like,
Oh, this one here, you click on. And then you can copy this little chunk of code. And then you can put it right at the top where, see where mine is up top here? So if you just paste over top of that with yours, then you'll be using your Firebase.
and you need all the var, like the variables,
Yeah,
it's you here?
yeah, all of that stuff. Boom, perfect. Okay.
And in the Firebase, do I need to do something else? Or just copy?
There, is it a new one that you made? You will also want to go to, one more thing, guys. If you haven't done this before, then under the database tab, you will want to go to the rules. These are your security rules. And you want to set those to true. Otherwise, you won't be able to access your database. And then you should be in good shape. Okay, so back into our session here. Where we left things, if I open up my, my little console here, when I type inside of the fields here, it knows that a change is happening. Okay? So let's take a look at why this is working. Yep. Yeah. Let's start at the very top, and we'll go back a little bit. So right here, I have a component called controlled form. So let's take a little look at our controlled form.
That's the letter B, right?
This one here. So controlled form is what we call one of those smart components. And we can tell because it's starting with class. It has a constructor. And look here, we've got this function called onChange. Right? So this is the one that is noticing when we are changing one of our text fields. So here's how we do it. Right here, we give it a... Oh, yeah, yeah. Better? So this is how components communicate with each other. The father component, the parent, creates a prop and then gives that prop a value, which is the function. All right? So right here we've said, I'm going to create a property called action, and I'm going to say, take my onChange function, this one right up here, and make that the value of this action. Right? So the idea is that the parent has to tell the child about the function. Otherwise, the child has no way of knowing. Right? Let's add one more here. I've got this text area, and it doesn't have any prop right now, right? So if let me bring my console back, and we can see the difference, because if I type up here, see I'm getting changes in the console, but if I type down here, no changes, right? So let's see if we can update that. So here's my text area. I'll say action equals this dot onChange dot, And here's something we need. This one called bind. Now, if you don't put this bind, what will happen is that when the change event happens, the child will be looking for this onChange function inside itself. When we say bind this, we are saying, look in me. Look in the Father. Look in this, me. Right? And will it find it? Yeah, it'll find it right here. So you pretty much always need to do this binding that they talk about here. So keep that one in your memory. Let's go a little further. Let's take a look at how the input is handling things. So let's go to the input. Okay, here's our input. And look right here. Inside the input field, change. Now this is part of HTML. This is not React. Like onChange events happen on text fields. So what we're saying is, when that event happens, the onChange, call props.action. And props.action is the function in the Father. Does that make sense? You know, so the idea is fairly straightforward. It's like, let's say TJ is my kid. I give him his first cell phone, and I'm like, here's my number. If anything happens, you call that number. This phone, I'm going to bind to me, right? When that number, when you call it, that's my number. Now I can go off and I can be doing whatever. TJ is approached by someone in a panel van who offers him candy. He's like, oh my God, call dad, right? You call that number. So that's what's happening here. That event that happens of the person pulling up in the panel van causes you to call that function. Here, the event is a change. Someone is typing down in here. When that happens, call the function, which talks to the parent. So let's see if this can be applied also to our text area. So we've got a text area down here. Let's see. Right here, let's give it an onChange. So we'll put a little break in here just to make it easier to look at. We'll say onChange equals props.action. There we go. Make sure there's a space there. Okay, let me give this a try. I think it should be working. Hey, look at that. So now it knows about changes here, and it also knows about changes happening here.
So you're putting the onChange event in every thing?
Yeah, every text area or input field on here, I'm going to send them all to the same function. So that if anything changes, that function gets called. We're not going to make separate functions for each field because we're going to do one more step that will let our handler function know which data is being updated.
Because I have it in every on the box.
You do want to have it on your text area field, and you also want to have it on your input field here. That's all good. Let's go just a little bit further. Let's go back to the parent component and get a little bit more information about what's going on. Because right now it just says the form is changing, but we can actually get a little bit more information here. So let's go back to our controlled form. Right here. Try this, guys. Instead of just saying console log the form is changing, try this. Console log event target. Let's see if we can get a little bit more information here. Here, let me dock this up on the side so it's a little easier. Whoa, not on the left, never the left. Hold on. I want the right. There we go.
Oh, it's taking another key.
Look at that, huh? Interesting. So there's something to know about these events that we get. They have extra properties and extra information in them. So right here, the target tells us what was actually changed. So if I'm up here, it knows that it's the input that's changing. If I'm down here, it knows that it's the text area that's changing. So this is getting a little bit better. We can make use of that. We are going to give a name property to each of these. Okay. Let me make a little more room here. This is actually very close to being able to package stuff up and send it to Firebase. So here's my input. I'm going to give it one more prop. All right? We're going to say name equals, and the name will actually be important in this case because it will be, we're going to use this name to store the information in the database. So let's say, for instance, my first field here, I want to store that as like headline in the database. So in here, I'll say headline. And while we're at it, we should give the text area a name as well. Just like that. Yep.
When I get through the console log event treat target, it returns to me an array.
An array, interesting. Can you send that to me? Let's take a look. That's interesting. Let's see what we got here. Whoa, an array. And if we type here? No, you're okay. Yeah. See how it's saying text area right now? And if I type up here, it's saying input. So you're actually okay. I think that array you're seeing is something else. You maybe have another console log in there somewhere, but I think you're good. Also, bravo. This is looking quite nice. And I left you a small little feedback about how you can make the menu a little more. Yeah. Oh, you did? Cool. Should we try? Oh, not responsive yet. Not yet. Yeah. If you try my little trick, then when this gets a little smaller, you'll see these guys stack on top of each other, which will be neat. But this is looking really good. And I think you're okay there, Molly. So then let's take a quick look at our friend Winlim here. Nice, nice. Yeah, your responsive is getting better here. That's good. Let's try this. That is not Comic Sans, actually. It is, hold on, I saw it in here. What is it? That font is Indie Flower, my friend. Big difference. Let's see. So we're not getting our change events here. Wait, is it this? Do you have doubles? You actually have duplicates here. You have your form twice. Yeah, you've got a form over here, and you've got a form over here. We might have to take another look at that, my friend. I feel like I've got to get in there and examine it a little bit. There's not too much time left, so let me finish this thing, and then we can. Let me finish this one little step, then we can do some debugs. Okay? You got it? Hey, nice, nice, nice. Oh, really? Okay. Okay, here's what we've done, guys. We added a name property to each of our components here. I'll be right with you. So we're going to make use of that. We have about 2-3 more lines of code to write here. So let me go to the input component.
Should this work right now? I mean, when we submitting something, should it do something? Because right now.
Not yet.
Does it disappear?
Not yet.
Should disappear?
It'll probably refresh the page because, yeah, like submit buttons in a form. By default, they try to refresh the page, so we're going to have to actually turn that off. We've got a little more work to do. But for now, I'm going to add the name to this input here. I'm going to say name equals props.name, right? Because we just gave them a prop called name. And we can do the same for the text area. Name equals props.name. So the only difference we've made here is that now they have a name. But in our onChange function that we're working with, it'll now be able to tell them apart, which is really good. Let's try something out here.
So you added the name, yeah?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
everybody.
So we added it here, and we added it at the controlled form right here. So what it means is that my input is going to have a name called headline, and my text area is going to have a name called description. So try this. In your console log, update your console log to event.target.name. So bit by bit, we're making it so this function knows what we're doing exactly. If we type in the input here now, see how in my console it says headline? It knows I'm updating the headline. If I type in my text area, see how it says description, right? So now it knows the difference. We can get even more information out of here. Put another console log right after that. And this time we'll say event.target.value. Let me clear this console so we can see. So now if I'm typing, see that? So now it knows that the headline is Tim is here now. And if I type in the text area, it'll know the description as well. See that? That's good. So this is really handy because like what it means is we can add as many of these input fields as we want, and as long as we give them a different name, we can send all of that information right here to the onChange. So this guy is going to sit here just gathering all the information and sending it to Firebase when we need to. Pretty cool, right? Uh-huh. I think you have other problems because you have actually 2 forms on your page.
So I deleted.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I deleted.
She didn't type in. Have you typed in yours?
Oh, yeah, you have to type
Which one?
in your input field. Yeah, so try. So not doing it. Okay. All right, let me see if I can see what that is real quick. One more little step, guys. We've got what we need in the input fields, but we've also got this submit button here, right? So here's what I would say. We're going to add, in addition to our onChange here, we will add a function called onSubmit. Yeah, onSubmit. And it also receives an event, which will be like a mouse event. Just like that. And here's the first thing you should do. Event dot prevent default. Yeah, because the built-in behavior of a form is that when you hit the submit button, it tries to refresh the page. This is from like old days when forms had to use like a page request to submit. But today you don't usually do it that way. So usually the first thing you want to do is prevent the default behavior with this little line. This will be for the submit.
Yeah, this is specific term, like on change.
Uh,
Change the name of it or
oh, yes, you can use any name you want for this function.
but on change is not.
It's up to you. Because what we're going to do is the same way that we did a binding to the onChange, now we're going to do a bind to the onSubmit. So you really can call it whatever you want. Yeah.
Oh yeah, now it refreshes, sure.
Okay, so let's go to our form here. So here's the thing, guys. You don't add the submit handler to the submit button. You add it to the form, okay? Yeah, with a form, you don't add the submit handler to the button. That's bad practice. You add it to the form itself, right? So here's my form right here. So in here, I'm going to say onSubmit.
This is kind of like in every text area.
Well, every form should have only one submit button, right? So when you hit that submit button, the event actually comes from the form itself, not the button.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we're doing is adding our on submit to the form itself here. And we will need to do the binding too. We'll say this dot on submit bind to this. There we go. That's looking pretty good to me. And if we really want to be sure, we can put a little console log in here. The form submitting. Right there. Now, to Nari's question, this right here, we can call it anything we want, right? So if I make it like on send, then down here, I must make it on send. That would be fine. But this one right here, this on submit, that you cannot change. That's part of the HTML. Oh man, I'm gonna give it a try. Submit. Hey, the form submitting. So we're getting there. We're pretty close now, right? Because we've got this change handler, and it can keep track of any changes that we're typing in here. And now we've got this submit button, and it's like ready to go. It's ready to send it off to Firebase. The only step that's missing is that our component needs to remember this stuff, right? Right now, it's noticing these are changing, but it's not remembering it. So in a React component, if you need to remember something, this is where we use set state. So let's go back to our little on change here. We add one more update in here. Here's how it's going to look. We're going to say this dot set state. And this is us saying, put this in your memory. Like, don't just discard this information. And it's going to be an object. So we're putting little curly braces in there. And here's how it's going to look. So let me finish this one little line here. I'm going to say event.target.name colon event.target.value. Let's take a little look at what we've done here. So we saw from our console logs here that the onChange event knows which one we're typing in because we gave it a name. So this one I called headline, this one I called description. It also knows the value of what we're typing in. So here's what we're saying. We're telling React, put in your memory headline and then whatever the value of headline is right now. Text area, description, and whatever the value of description is right now, right? And this will actually stay in memory. If we want to test that, let's look inside the memory when we hit the submit button and see if the information is there. Sounds good, right? If it is, it's ready to go to Firebase, man. So let's try it. We'll say console log this dot state. So we'll just look at everything in memory. Let me give a quick save here. So if I don't enter anything in and I just hit submit, nothing in memory. See how I've got an empty object in my console right now? But what if I put in Tim is the label, and now I submit? Hey! Pretty good, right? And if I type down here, derpa derpa, headline, Tim is the label, description, derpa derpa. You see how this is nice, guys? Right? Because what this means is like, you're going to be making your invoice over here. And let's say you want to put in your client name, and you want to put in a description of the job, and you want to put in how many hours you worked. All you have to do is give each one of these a different name and give them the same change handler, because it is putting the data into memory based on whatever the name is. Isn't that cool? So if you need 20 things, you can do it very, very easily. You just have to make sure you give each of them a different name.
I'm just wondering, the evented.target is just to follow the name. I mean, the evented.target name is looking for the name inside the state, and then
Yes.
the value is looking for the value inside the.
Yes. In fact, let me show you. The value is whatever we have entered into that input field.
We didn't set the value yet, right?
Well, no, but the value refers to whatever we have typed in here. Yeah. Now, I think what you're asking is like, we can set a default value in here as well. That's possible, and we haven't done that. So if we hit the submit button and we haven't typed anything, well, there's no values. So we get an empty object. So before we try to send it to Firebase, we probably should check if it's empty. If it's empty, then we don't send it, because that would mean they didn't fill out the form. How you guys feel about that? Got that working okay? I know we got a couple of debugs to do, but this is the main thing we need in order to send it off to Firebase. All right? So here's what I would love to see you guys do.
10 minutes approximately.
Okay, cool. I don't want to mess with that. There is a fully complete example of this working, guys. If you, in Leaflet, under Lab 5, the last link down here, submit to Firebase, is exactly what we're working on, but it can also submit it into Firebase. That's the only thing we need to do still. We're very, very close. I would love to see you guys look at this example here and get your form submitting into your Firebase app. Give it a try. If it doesn't work, whatever, we'll get it working. But I think with a few more lines of code, if you look in this example, you will get it working. So with probably 7 minutes left, let's do a quickie debug. Let's see who was first.
Well, it's not event. The
Event right up here. You can call it whatever you want. Yeah, because that one's just a parameter. So you'll see some people do this, like EVT. That'll work too. All right, let's see here. Let's see. We looked at that. We haven't looked at Sunny. Let's take a look at Sunny real quick. See what we got. Ooh, look at all this. This is cool. Hey, this is looking pretty good, don't you think? Oh, it's even responsive. Sweet. So let's type. Oh, typo. I see nvet is not defined. So I think that's probably a typo. Nvet. Ah, there it is. This one should be event. That's line 253. So now let's try. There's another one somewhere, nvet. Oh, I didn't hit run. Here we go. Now let's give it a try. There we go. Wait, who's Sunny again? I forget. Sunny? Oh, sorry. So the only thing I found was line 253. There was a little typo where it said envet rather than event. So once you've got that, that looks pretty good. Let me try your submit button. Oh, and I'll put something in here. Oh snap! Look at this, guys. Sunny has it going on here. Was able to add a third field, right? So if you're curious about how to do that, like she's got it going. So it's basically just like adding another one, but then giving it a unique name. Now, whatever name you use for that, that's how it's going to get stored in the database. So you should make your name like make sense, because it's going to go into Firebase. But this is looking great. I think this is looking pretty good, don't you? Let's do another quickie debug. You're all good there, right, Sunny? All right. Let's do take another quick look here. Crosver? Nid is down the list. I'm going in order. What? Above? Okay, hold on, Crosver. I don't see you. No, you're after Winlim.
No design style.
Well, we can only do so much. So let me see if I can real quickly see what's up here.
I think it's working, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, that looks pretty good.
Yes?
Yeah, that looks good. Let me try the submit. No, I think you're missing the prevent default. Yeah, that's what happens. Because by default, it tries to refresh the page, which causes the memory to reset. So let's look at your unsubmit. Oh, it is there. Prevent default. Oh, right here. Oh. You are missing unsubmit. Yeah. And then we just have to make sure it has the binding. Oh, God.
But are you working always in CodePen? I mean, even for your personal projects?
No, I'll usually start them in CodePen so I can get a look and feel and stuff. But we're actually going to switch over to Cloud9. And I do use that quite a lot.
Because, like, I don't know, I cannot imagine my life without Atom. Because, like, I don't know, they can always, like, show you errors, they can show you, like, a lot of cool things.
Me too.
That's why I'm using that.
Yeah.
But in CodePen, like, I thought that they will add these features because it's like they're just plugins, just usual plugins. But when they suggested you, for example, here you put space, like here you misspelled, like something with ID and classes, but there's nothing.
They have some things. Like, if you try out projects in CodePen, they have a little bit more completion working there
I have
than
like
in
15
Pen.
plugins for Atom and like for every language, and like it's super easy. It
Oh
shows
yeah,
you all errors.
it is nice, and I like how well integrated it is with GitHub.
Yeah.
So
It's cool. It's super cool.
that's the one I usually use. So.
Yeah, nice.
But Cloud9 is pretty good too. It's going to let us do a lot more stuff.
There's like JS Fiddle.
JS Fiddle is another option. At least you can make like separate files in there, which is pretty good. But Cloud9 will let us do everything. Even terminal access, so we can do Node and NPM, which will be pretty awesome. Okay, guys. Well, okay, I'm going to look at Jasnita, but I'm not getting in trouble if you're late on the next class, okay? Tell them it's not me. Let's take a look. This is looking really nice, Nita. I like your layout. So let's try this. Hey, that's looking good. I can see it. And if I type here, I can see it there too. Let me... your submit button. is not finished yet. So let's quickly get your submit button fixed up. Oh, you might be missing the on submit. Yeah, maybe. Let's see here. See you guys. Oh, I see. So here it's called on send. So right here, Nida, in the form, we have to say, listen for the on submit.
Sometimes you go very fast, I cannot follow you.
Yeah. No problem. So this is going to be the on send. And we must bind it to this. Now I'm pretty sure it's going to work. Let's give it a try. So let's clear this. Just make a little room. So my label, I'll say like Tim or time. Down here, some description. And then let's try to submit. There you go. See that object? And it knows what my headline is. It knows what my description is. And those are correct. So then you're good. Yeah. Yep. Hello, my friend. There you go, Nita. Molly, were you having an issue?
Also, the description is not showing sizes.
Let's take a look. Let's see what we can find. I love this, how colorful.
Thank you.
So let's try
Just
this.
find a new way to do the ingredient color.
Cool.
Yes.
And then some description. It looks like it's working.
It's working, just it doesn't show the word description.
Ah.
It shows the quotation and nothing yet.
Oh, okay. And what if we do this? Oh, missing. Oh, okay. We can definitely fix that. That should be pretty easy. So maybe it doesn't have its name.
It has a name.
Let's see. Was that on the text area or the... It's this one that's
This
the
one
problem.
is text area. Yeah.
Okay. So let's go look for text area. Oh, not that one. That one's just that. Okay. Aha! He does not have his name. So we need name equals props dot name. Let's try that one. I think that's probably going to be good.
I did.
Submit. Come on, console. Hey, there you go. So the next thing we'll do is we'll basically just take that and send it to Firebase. So if you look in Lab 5, at the bottom, submit to Firebase. It has all the code you need to submit to Firebase. So be cool if you can do it. If you look in my, it should work for you. So right here in my on submit, right here, this is the little chunk right here. And then we've got this one thing called Firebase API methods right here. So you're going to need this guy and see if you can figure out how to submit to Firebase. If it doesn't work, don't worry about it. We'll get it working, but give it a try. Yeah, let's check it out.
Mine is I deleted the another text this input, but it is still just showing the array.
Oh, okay. Let's go.
I'm not sure it is not showing the type errors.
Let's see what we can find.
Can I change the article?
Yeah.
Example.
Yep, because that's just a prop, so you can call it anything you like.
Yeah, I did. Let me figure out.
Okay, this is looking
I
pretty
want to
good.
have a question about my response. It is when I is everything is crushed, not proper size, not proper size.
So you want to make this one wider?
Like for example, when I small it, it is showing out of the display.
Yes, yes.
But I want to try to figure out, but I'm not sure how to do it.
Okay. Okie dokie. All right, so first let's figure out about this guy. Let's see. I'm going to use my real console here because I can put it on the side. So let me try here. So it's having some kind of issue. All right, let's see if we can figure that out. Because I'm not seeing any console back here.
Yeah, the consolation I show is so I'm not sure.
Let's see if we can find that. So let's go all the way to the top one. So let's see. Here we go. Okay, so enter my invoice. There's enter box. So it looks like control form. One thing, we should make sure we have a space.
Space?
There, yeah.
Will we submit our lab 6?
Right now it's not letting you, right?
Yeah.
So I've got to figure out what that is. I got to go in the database. So just keep track of your pen and hopefully I get that submission field showing up. I think it's because the yeah, like the grade already got assigned automatically, like an F, right? So like because it's there, it thinks that you shouldn't be.
Another function like resubmissions.
Yeah,
Like give us another chance.
yes, that's I have to, right? So I got to figure out why it's not showing up. I thought when I reset the day to today that it would show up and let you submit, but I got to check with Adam and find out why. Yeah, sorry about that. I never planned on getting sick. So the software like doesn't know what to do.
You get a cold or
Yeah, it was hard to breathe and my chest was like, every time I breathe I start coughing. It was terrible. Let's see. So here's this form. Yeah. See if we can figure it out. So the first thing I think I'll do is just put a little console log right here just to test if the control form is even working. And we'll give it a run.
Yeah, just showing already.
Yep, it is there. So that's good.
But I'm not sure why already is showing.
And then let's try. It looks like it's not seeing this Y change, right? Because when I type in here, no change. And I type in here, no change. So let's do a little search for this Y change. This looks good to me. And this looks good too. So let's look in the input and see if it's actually using the action. Aha, this one should be action. Yeah, because that's the name of the prop.
Okay.
So when we call action, it's going to say, oh, let me look in the props. What is action? And then it's going to see the Y change. So, oh, this one too.
It should be action.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's give this a try. Oh, run. Tim. Hey, where's you? Okay. Let's see. Wait, this is input 2. Is there another one called input?
I
input.
should be delete this one, I think. No, you can delete this one, this part.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because this one is before I don't like.
Let's try. And then what about this one? This one looks like should be action. That looks pretty good.
Yeah, and then the third one. Now
So
there's all
let's see.
build up. There's
On submit, yeah. Action equals.
everywhere. There's
And is this
garbage
the right
all
spelling?
clean the disgusting dirty city.
Looks
Pick up the garbage.
good. Looks okay to me. And it's input and it's text area.
It goes from a beautiful, like serene, perfectly natural forest. You come in and destroy
Looks
it,
pretty
the
good.
city.
Let's give it a run. Let's try.
Our first group project, but I guess it's our second.
Yeah, we had a group one.
It automatically shows.
It should show, yeah. There's something we're missing here.
Yeah.
The on submit is right.
Because our second one was actually really
Wow, change. That looks good.
And that pissed me off so much. I know. Oh my god.
What are we
What
missing?
that is. Like, we did better on the second assignment, showed we did better marks.
What about the submit? Let's try that.
That was 1% because you didn't
The submit is working.
Yeah, but
So there's just something with this input and text area that we are missing.
But in the object, when I submit the object inside object is not showing.
That's true, but at least it's showing in the console. So this is hooked up okay, but something is funny with these guys. Let's go back to the input.
I play like a lot of games, man.
Styled. I was checking to make sure that this is a styled input, but it looks like it is. That's okay.
But you actually have to spend like 60 hours on it.
Take a look
Freaking insane.
here.
To have that Unity thing.
Input space. Input space. That
Computer
is
programming.
text
So I didn't
equals.
comment something.
I think.
Well, I can just do the Unity and then I said computer programming. Computer
Don't
science bachelor.
Oh. Action. The name is there.
So, gotta go crazy.
Do.
Okay, how to do it?
Looks alright. Let's see.
11:45. Bye, Alex. Good luck.
There's something I'm missing here. What is it?
You can check your site.
Wait a minute. Oh my god, this is me.
What?
This is my mistake.
Wait.
This should be on change, not action. Yeah, because on change is what is used by input fields. That's how it sees the changes.
Is not the variable name. It is.
No, it is in this case. Yeah, input fields, you must use on change. That's my mistake. I shouldn't have been saying action. Action goes here, but over here it's on change.
So I should put the on change every text.
Yeah, let's put it here too. And then I think we will see better result. Let's try this. Hey, there we go. And then let's try here. Good. And now let's try submit.
Oh, it's working.
That's what it was.
Why I am showing the array? I'm not sure about this. My array is showing.
I'm thinking you have another console log in there somewhere. I think it's unrelated. Let's take a look. Console log. So there's those, but I bet there's another one in here somewhere.
I thought I only have a bit part. Because of invoice?
I was thinking it might be that. Ah, right
here.
there. That's the one.
Okay.
So if you don't want to see it, you can just like. May I offer you a fork?
Oh, yes, please.
Okay, let's do that.
Can you,
Your fork, my lady.
Thank you.
I like your work.
Thank you.
You're
And
very
also-
persistent. That's good.
Also, I want to. Later, can you tell me the response of how it works in the?
Yes, but I'll have to do it online because I gotta go.
Yeah, I know. That's why I just.
Probably you do too.
Also, can you check my like 5 or?
Yes. I took a look already.
Yeah. But
And I also took a look at 4, which was with the medians.
yeah,
So-
I already checked the left 4 and left 5. I just fixed something and then.
So why don't I just keep looking at this one then, because we're continuing on from that. So
Okay.
we'll get your responsive working good. Alrighty. It's been a pleasure.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I think our stream is